like to welcome you to the Odra, Cooking, and Fine Wines channel. If you have been looking for information on smoking meat on a grill or without a smoke better or in a better way, we have our top 4 videos that we have researched and want to present to you. But first off, there are links at the bottom in the description of this video that will take you to the page that you see here, if you are looking for a good meat smoker on Amazon. Just briefly take a look here as we scroll. Also, there are links below in the video description that will take you to the page that you see here, if you are looking for deliveries of fresh meats and groceries from Amazon as well. Just briefly take a look here as we briefly scroll as well. Also, be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button for us as well. But now, let's get to our selection of videos that we have researched for smoking meat on a grill or without a smoker. Video number 1 is from the Vanks YouTube channel. Video number 2 is from the Weber Barbecue India YouTube channel. Video number 3 is from the BodyHub Pro Kitchen Lab YouTube channel. Video number 4 is from the GreenhornBBQbeer YouTube channel.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to talk about my 10 favorite tips for barbecuing, and I think I got one in there especially for a pellet grill. So let's jump into them. So number 10, I would say, is to get to know your grill. Find out where the hot spots are, find out how the temperature fluctuates. One side of your grill is going to be different from the other side, and front to back may be different. So certainly get to know your grill and understand how it works. So I think the old adage that if you're looking, you ain't cooking is 100% true. So number 9 for me is to resist that urge to constantly check on it, to constantly look at the bark, to constantly see how it's cooking. So every time you open this grill, you get a massive influx of ambient air and a massive outflow of all your nice hot air that you've put into your barrel here. So especially toward the end of cooks, I struggle with it myself, is hey, let it ride. Okay, it's doing what it's supposed to do, trust it. And that goes back to number 10, is knowing your grill. So number 8 on the list is to prep. So it may sound simplistic, it may sound like an oversight, but certainly that's probably the biggest thing that I would say. I don't know why this isn't number 1 on the list, but that's probably the biggest thing that I would say, is to prep everything you need. So from foil to maybe a dry cooler, to getting your plates and your tongs and just everything ready. So that way when you're putting meat on, or you're taking meat off especially, you don't have this meat that's cooked and ready to go, and now you're scrambling around trying to figure out where to put it, where's your foil. So I actually have this table, I call it my butcher block, and it works out actually really great. It sits out here right next to the barbecue pit, and it's got storage underneath and things like that. I hang my water bottles from it, and this is kind of my prep area. So number 8, definitely get everything prepped and ready to go. So number 7 on the list is to use a digital thermometer, or I guess any thermometer. I actually first started off with this digital thermometer, and the only problem I had with it is I would stick it in my meat and I'd have to wait 10 seconds for it to finally climb up the temperature. And so I then went with this kind of instant read thermometer, and whenever you open it, it'll actually turn on, and it just takes 2 seconds to get a very quick, accurate temperature. So another tip with the thermometer is I use the thermometer to get me 90% there. So I want to know if I'm cooking a brisket and I'm trying to get close to 200 or so, I use a thermometer to get me to 190. Once I get to 190, I stop caring about the temperature, and all I'm doing is using either thermometer and sticking inside the brisket or the pork butt to test for tenderness. So that's what I mean by use the thermometer to get you most of the way there. But that last little percentage, just use the thermometer, just use a probe to test for tenderness, because at the end of the day, once it gets to a safe temperature, who cares about the internal temperature? You want to check for doneness. So you definitely want to clean your grill. You can probably see under there all the nastiness and grime and everything else. If you don't clean your grill, you can actually risk creating a grease fire. You can get a bunch of trash on your meat and things like that. So definitely clean your grill. That is tip number 6. So I think until now, most of the tips that we've given have really applied to all types of grills. This one will be very specific to pellet grills, and that is for pellet management. So when you're doing cooks and things like that, you always want to make sure you are using whatever flavor works best for you, whatever flavor best complements the food you're cooking. And a big tip, and you can take it from me personally, you never want to run out of pellets for an overnight cook. It just turns out to ruin your day and your evening, and so that all goes into pellet management. So number 4 on the list is tongs and plates. So a big thing when cooking, especially things like chicken and pork, is to use different tongs for your raw meat and a new set of tongs and plates for your cooked meat. So it may not seem like a very important thing, but when you're cooking food, like I said, especially chicken and pork, and serving it to your family, you want to make sure that the meat is fully cooked, and you want to make sure that you're not cross-contaminating your good, nice, clean, cooked food and serving that to your family. So number 3 tip is to make sure you're using heavy-duty foil. So my wife likes this kind of shorter, thinner foil for wrapping stuff up, putting it in the fridge or whatever. I don't think you'll ever see me using this stuff, even for throwing things into the freezer. I just prefer this heavy-duty foil. If you're wrapping meat, if you're wrapping ribs or brisket, throwing them in a cooler, your leftovers, wrapping them up, throwing them in the fridge, whatever you're using, I just prefer this heavy-duty stuff that's not going to tear on me. I think they have one that's called like barbecue foil, and I don't notice a difference between the heavy-duty stuff and the barbecue stuff, although I think the barbecue foil is a little bit more expensive. So up to you guys, but I would just certainly stick with the heavy-duty stuff. So number 2 on the list is to plan appropriately. This could probably fall under number 8, which is prepping, but I think it deserves kind of its own section here. And the biggest thing for me for planning a cook is to plan the cook, plan the prep, plan the rest time. So a lot of people don't really factor in the rest time into their overall planning. And for larger cuts of meat like brisket and pork butt, things like that, planning rest time is vital. So for me personally, I try to plan for about a 2-hour rest on a brisket and a 1-hour minimum. I will not cut a brisket before it rests for 1 hour. So those are kind of the things you need to plan for. Now brisket can stay in a dry cooler for 5, 6, 7 hours. So you have a lot of leeway on that back end, but not as much on the front end when you're trying to cook for dinner or you got friends coming over. So I think definitely the last thing to consider when using a pellet grill, when using a Traeger, when using a Rectech, when using whatever you're using, a charcoal grill, stick burner, electric smoker. I think the biggest thing that I've learned in all of this grilling, barbecuing, smoking is to do it your way. So my family likes certain things, my wife likes certain things, certain ways, and that's what I try to cater to. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll use YouTube, I'll get some good ideas, some tips and tricks on cooking different things. But at the end of the day, I'm cooking for me and my family. Choose what's right for you guys and piss on what anybody else says is kind of where I'm at. I got to keep my family happy, especially my wife. And other than that, let the keyboard heroes on the internet and everybody else who gives you a hard time about how you cook steaks or what type of grill you use or anything, let them do their thing. It's starting to rain on me, but if you like this kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna post this video, and my next cook will be beef short ribs, sometimes called dinosaur bones or dinosaur ribs. So if you're interested in that, stick around, and we'll get those up for our next video.
Video
Thanks,
number
everybody.
2 is from the Weber Barbecue India YouTube channel.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Coleman, Weber's grilling expert. Today we have a very exciting topic and we're going to be discussing how to smoke on your charcoal grill. We're going to be using the two-fire indirect method. Now before we get started, we want to make sure that we review our recipe for what kind of wood we're going to use and how much. Now when smoking on a charcoal grill using the indirect method, we recommend using wood chunks. If you don't have chunks, you can always use wood chips, but you want to make sure that you soak those for at least 30 minutes because we want those to smolder throughout the cooking process. If you don't soak those, they're going to fire extremely quickly and you're not going to get a lot of smoke flavor. Now we don't need to soak wood chunks because we're not going to get any penetration into the wood, but we will get a nice prolonged smoke throughout the cooking process. Now let's set up our charcoal grill for indirect smoking. Light the charcoal. More often than not, you will need a small bed of charcoal for smoking, so start with the chimney filled about halfway. The swinging handle above the chimney starter is there to help you lift and aim the chimney where you want it. Be sure to wear insulated barbecue mitts when handling the chimney starter. Also, make sure to sweep any ash that accumulates on the bottom of the bowl and leave the bottom vents open all the way. Pour your lit charcoal onto the charcoal grate or in the char basket. I'm going to be using 2 barbecue mitts because the chimney starter will be warm. Put the empty chimney starter on a heat-proof surface away from children and pets. If the coals are not in a charcoal basket, use a long-handled tongs to arrange them so that they cover 1/3 or 1/2 of the charcoal grate. It's okay if the coals are piled 1 or 2 coals deep, but no more than that. Remember, you will probably need medium or a low indirect heat, so start with a small amount of charcoal and add more later as needed. Now when smoking on your charcoal grill for over 30 minutes, we recommend using a water pan. And we're going to fill that 3/4 of the way and place it on the empty part of the charcoal grate. Now if you want to enhance the flavor, you can always use beer, fruit juice, or wine instead of the water. Fill the pan about 3/4 of the way with water. The pan will catch any juices and fat from the food. Plus, the water will absorb and release heat slowly, evening out the temperatures and adding a bit of moisture to the smoking process. Preheat the grill. Now we're going to add our cooking grate to our charcoal grill. Now if you're using a hinge grate, make sure you put the hinge side over the charcoal. This will make it easier to add fuel throughout the cooking process. Then put the lid on the grill and open the top vent completely. Wait until the temperature reaches the right range for the recipe you are making. Keep in mind, as the charcoal burns, the temperature will drop. When the temperature reaches the upper end of your desired temperature range, remove the lid and use a long-handled grill brush to scrape off any bits and pieces of food that have been sticking to the cooking grate. Now that we've preheated our charcoal grill, we're now going to add our wood chunks or our wood chips. Add your chunks, and if you're using chips, they should be damp but not so wet that they could put out the fire. The damp chips will initially drop the temperature of the fire, but the heat will recover once the chips begin to smolder. Put the lid on the grill and wait for the smoke to start pouring out of the grill. Open the lid and arrange the food on the cooking grate as the recipe suggests. Close the lid and position it so the vents are on the side of the grill opposite the charcoal. This will draw the heat and smoke over the food and out the vent. Now hopefully we've been able to teach you some great tips on how to smoke on your charcoal grill. A couple things to remember. If you're smoking for longer than a half an hour, you're going to have to add charcoal every hour on the hour in order to maintain temperatures inside your grill. Also, make sure you're sweeping the ash out of the bowl. This will help with the air circulation inside of your grill. And if you have any other questions, call our customer service at 1-800-446-1071, refer to your owner's manual, or find us here on Weber.com. And always, happy grilling.
Video number 3 is from the BodyHub Pro Kitchen Lab YouTube channel. Greenhorn BBQ Beer YouTube channel.
My name is Todd. Sassy's over there gardening. Alright guys, today we are going to do a chuck roast. We're going to do it salt, pepper, garlic, Texas style on the Weber kettle. So guys, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to this channel and tell me down in the comments, how would you do this differently? It's about 6 or 7 pounds. Definitely not the size of a brisket. With the prices of meat, especially brisket going on nowadays, this is a good alternative. That with the Weber, and we're going to use Texas post oak. Now, where did I find Texas post oak in California? Well, it wasn't easy. I actually had to go out of state to get it. But we split it up a little bit smaller to chunks that we could use on the Weber. We're using ridge charcoal, and we're using the snake method, guys, so we can get that low and slow temperature consistent, and I don't have to keep checking on it, every 20 minutes. That gets kind of old. Salt, pepper, and garlic. Okay, guys, about 25% salt to the coarse ground black pepper and garlic salt. Mix this up really nice. Okay, guys, that's what you ended up with. Nice little mixture of SPG, and you know what? That's all we need. Now, I'm going to use some plain old Jane old yellow mustard as a schmear. I don't know who came up with that word schmear, but I think it's kind of funny. Schmear. Schmear. This is also that time, you guys, you get to massage your meat. I really want to get this on here heavy. Did I say this was a beef pot roast? I know a guy at work named Chuck. Not sure if he's got the beef though. The reason we're using coarse ground black pepper, kosher salt, which is coarse, and a little bit of that garlic salt. That's probably the best way to get a nice thick black bark on this, and that's what we're going for. And you guys, if you don't think that we can get a nice black bark on a Weber, stick around. After you put this on the grill, if there was any spots that got rubbed off, you just kind of mend it with a little bit extra. So we're doing a push to get 4,000 subscribers, guys. So if you're not subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It's pretty easy, it's free, it doesn't cost you a darn thing, and you get updates when we post. And to top this off, I've got 4 vendors right now that are supporting the channel by giving away some great prizes. Uncle Steve's Shake, Super Clean, Meat Stick, and Grillaholics all have agreed to give some great prizes to a lucky winner. Now, how are you going to win? Simple. Be around when we reach 4,000 subscribers. Then make sure you're subscribed as well, and all you got to do is comment on as many of our videos as possible. And then you got 48 hours to do that from the time we reach 4,000 subscribers. After that 48 hours, it's closed, and I'm going to go around and find out who has been commenting the most and giving us the most love, and that person will be announced on the next Saturday night's live stream, and we'll let you know the prizes you're going to get. All right, guys, back to barbecue. All right, guys, check it out. Okay, looks like we got an internal temperature of about 160. Let's check its tenderness. It's actually about 156 there. Not that tender. Not quite where I want it, guys. So the snake's almost done. But I'm gonna let it get up to, a little bit better internal temperature here. Day's getting kind of long here. I want to get it wrapped and stuck in the oven. So I'm gonna open these vents, get this thing supercharged, try to get it up above 165 while I get the oven ready, and then we'll finish it up. Here is chuck roast. All right, guys, so this is getting about to be about 165. Now, as you can see, it's shrunk down a little bit. That's okay. I don't really have anything too burned on this or anything like that. Looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this little bit of beef broth. Not all of this, of course. I'm going to just really kind of do a little dribble here. Of course, we're double wrapping here, guys. All right, guys, so we got that chuck roast on the Weber right about 10:30 in the morning. It allowed me to do a little maintenance on my razor. Sassy was doing a little bit of gardening. She even went for a swim in the pool. Now it's time to get serious. Into the oven, 6 hours total, fully wrapped, and we're gonna go to probe tender. Now, if it ends up being 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, hopefully it's not that late, so be it. When I poke that foil and feel that meat with a instant read thermometer, I want to feel butter, guys, butter. So we're going for tenderness. Why the oven? BTU is BTU, guys. I'm not going to waste any fuel on the Weber, the Traeger, or the Odra. I just want the heat. Here we go. Haven't touched it since we put it in the oven. Smells so beefy, so good.
So beefy.
It's mainly because it is beef, but also it's got that beef broth in there.
So beefy.
It's got that salt, pepper, garlic. You know, I mean,
I would imagine there's any juice in there.
how can you go wrong? There's a little bit of juice. I won't lose the juice, but it's okay. We got a little bit of gravy. That's all right. Ooh, look at that, guys.
Oh, can you just pour that in here?
Not bad. You know, I like the bark. You know, like I mentioned, this bark is really kind of tender, real fragile. I'm not really sure if there's a right way of cutting this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right down the middle, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like. Ready?
Oh, nice.
There we go, guys. All right. Now, like I said, we're going to be doing some gravy with this. It seems tender. It seems tender. I was going to do a little droop test, but, you know, I got a little fatty vein right there. All right, guys, we've got ourselves a potato. We've got our chuck roast. All right. First thing I like to do, get a little bit of hot sauce. Yeah. Sour cream. All right. Now I just mash it, guys. That's just how I do it right there. A little chives action going on. A little bit of gravy. I like gravy, guys. This chuck roast likes gravy too. A little bit of that. Chuck roast, baked potato dinner. Yeah. That's Sassy's baked potatoes she wanted to put on blast. Yeah. Just to remind you, here's the better baked potato.
Oh, brother. I made them both.
I can't wait any longer. I gotta get me some of this with the gravy. Little chunk of potato, maybe even a dab of sour cream on there. Going in for the kill. Beefy, got that SPG going on, pretty decent bark. Side of potatoes with some chives and sour cream and hot sauce. Thanks for watching. I know this is a really quick video, show you what you can do with chuck roast, because the meat prices are cray-cray right now. Gotta do whatever we can to keep the barbecue going.
Feed your family.
Guys, don't forget about our 4,000 subscriber giveaway extravaganza when we reach 4,000, and you're part of it. Be sure to read the description of this video for all the details, and we'll see you later.
Now, once again we would like to thank you for watching our top 4 videos, for smoking meat on a grill or without a smoker. Hit that like button and that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Also remember that we have links below in the video description that will take you to the Amazon page that you see here, for the meat smokers. And also here, for the fresh meats and groceries that you may want delivered to you as well. Hit that like button and that subscribe button for us, here at Odra, Cooking and Fine Wines.